Hey YouTube, welcome back. What is idempotency and where is it used? So, idempotency is a property of certain operation that ensures that multiple identical requests have the same effect as a single request. In other words, an operation is idempotent if applying it multiple times it produces the same result as applying it once. So, in the context of web development, APIs or distributed system, an idempotent operation guarantees that making the same request multiple times will not result in different outcomes or unintended side effects. So, if we have the client and this client make an update request, let's say update. Let's say it's update like a user ID, the user of ID 2, for example, update this user name, for example. It's the name to be equals to Mo, for example. So the client is trying to make an update request to the user with ID2, and it try to update the name to be Mo, and we'll send this to the server. Okay. So if this operation is idempotent, if the request is send this request multiple times or try to make this same operation with the same user ID and trying to update the same property with the same name and the same value, it should all the time have the same result. So if an API that modifies a resource, updating a user profile, is idempotent, then making the same update multiple times will not change the state of the resource beyond the first call. So that being said, we need to discuss the idempotency in the HTTP methods. HTTP methods. We start first by the get. The get is idempotent because when you try to retrieve a list of objects or resources, retrieving data should not modify the server state, whether the client makes one or multiple GET requests. The response should be the same all the time. The put request also should be idempotent because it's used to create or update resource. If you send the same put request multiple times, the resource will be updated to the same state after each request. Example for that, this one. This is an example for that. After that, we have the delete. The delete, it's idempotent because repeatedly deleting the same resource should have the same effect as deleting it once. If the resource is already deleted, further delete request should return a response indicating that the response no longer exists, but without performing an additional actions. Okay, let's go to the post request. In the post request, it's not idempotent because post is typically used for creating resources. Each post request may create a new resource. So sending the same request multiple times may result in multiple new resources being created. Example for that, we can create a new order in e-commerce system. Multiple post requests might result in multiple orders, or maybe you can create multiple users or multiple products, you can create a lot of multiple resources, and for that there's like sometimes you need your post request to be idempotent, specifically in payment systems, but for now you should know that the post request is not idempotent. So let's try to ask, where is the idempotency is used? The first thing that we will talk about will be the APIs in RESTful and RPC. So the payment gateway, for example, if we have a payment gateway, when processing payments or refunds, idempotency ensures that if a client sends the same payment request multiple times due to the network retries or user errors, the payment is processed only once. Also, if we have a resource updates, so put requests that update resources like user profile settings, etc., are idempotent, ensuring that the same resource is updated only once. This is the thing that I guess we discuss the update multiple times. Also, it's used in the distributed systems. Distributed systems. And this one is big one because in your system design, I guess in idempotency will play a crucial role. So if you have a retry mechanism in your system, in systems where network or services failure are common, idempotency ensure that retries don't causes unintended side effects like processing the same request twice or multiple times. It's really important to know that the retry mechanism doesn't request multiple times. Also, if are using a message queue, when processing tasks from message queues like Kafka, RabbitMQ, idempotency is necessary to ensure that a task is not executed multiple times if a message is processed or retried. Also in database operation, like database writes, so a certain database write operations can be made idempotent to avoid duplicate data, data creation or modifications. For example, inserting a unique record with the same data multiple times should result in one record in the caching systems, because in the cache update, so when refreshing or invalidating cache entries, idempotent operations ensures that the cache is constantly updated without creating conflicts due to the duplicate operations. There is something important that we should talk about, which is the idempotency key. Okay. In this one, we need to talk about like in certain cases, especially in payment systems or distributed services, an idempotency key is used. The client guarantees a unique key for each request, and the service uses this key to determine if the request has already been processed. If the server received the same key again, it knows that it's duplicated and can return the original response instead of processing the request from the beginning. So an example for that, let's say if a client makes a payment request to the server with an idempotency key. Let's say the idempotency key will equals 1, for example. Okay, if the client retries request due to a network failure or timeout again with the same idempotency key, okay, the server checks this idempotency key. The server checks this idempotency key and sees that the payment has already been processed. For example, if the client sent a request and the server already sent the response and the client sent the request again due to like a timeout or a problem, with the same idempotency key, the server check for the idempotency key and knows if this key was already processed, it will send the same request again, and it will not make any write or read operations. It will not make any side effects at all. For this one, we are guarantee reliability, so ensures the system behaves constantly even in the fact of network retries, client errors, or system failures. We prevent duplicate actions, like avoid accidental duplicate actions such as charging a user multiple times or creating duplicate entries in databases. We graceful error handling when dealing with unreliable networks. Idempotency allow the system to recover gracefully from transient errors by safely trying requests. And overall, we improve user experience, like preventing negative user experiences, like submitting the same form multiple times due to unclear feedback from the system. So, in conclusion, idempotency is crucial in building reliable, consistent, and user-friendly systems. It's commonly used in web services, distributed systems, and APIs to ensure that repeated or duplicated operations do not cause unintended side effects or errors. By making operations idempotent, developers can build systems that handle retries, network failures, and repeated requests gracefully without compromising data integrity. So that's it for this video, and see you in the future.